very welcome back. Now, many of us have been there, stuck in a rut of bad eating habits, with several pounds or maybe even several stone to lose, with bad diets promising us the world from left, right and centre, leaving us with little to no motivation.
Well, our next guest had a longer way to travel than most to reach her ideal weight, because she was starting out at 25 stone back in May 2008. But just a year and a half later, after months of hard work and indeed a complete lifestyle revamp, Therese Young is barely recognisable as her former self, having shed 14 stone off her quite slight frame, it has to be said. Therese joins us now this morning with Aisling Connolly from the Motivation Weight Management Clinics. Good morning to both of you. Good morning, Therese. Congratulations, because it is a phenomenal achievement. 25 stone, but more important, well, I added to that also, what, about 5'4", is it?
Yes, yeah.
So you're a small lady?
Yes.
Which means that you were morbidly obese at 25 stone. You,
yes.
I mean, your health must have been in danger.
Looking back now, I suppose it was, but I was very active in the community, and I just worked at being involved in community activities.
Okay. Now, you said just before we came on that your doctor had been at you a lot to do something about your weight.
Yes.
But you obviously didn't pay any attention to him. So what was it that provided the catalyst? What was the springboard to you deciding, right, I've had enough of this, I'm going to change?
Right. In May 2008, I was out sailing with my sister and her family, and the men went overboard and in a punt and went exploring an island, and my sister and I stayed on board rather than hopping on a small little boat and having to travel into an island. And we started talking about our weight, and we had a family wedding coming up, so we talked about going to lose weight, and she said she had heard about Motivation in Limerick, and would she check it out? And I said yes, thinking she'd forget about it when we went home. And 2 days later she rang and she said, we have an appointment the following week in Motivation in Limerick, and I haven't looked back, never looked back. It was the start of an adventure.
Now, Therese, motivation deals with why we eat as opposed to what we eat. That's one of the big keys to its success. And I think especially for women, emotional eating is something we all do. Was that something you now looking back can recognise you did? Were you eating because you were unhappy or upset, or was there a reason why you were eating so much? No,
I'd say it was my lifestyle. Okay. I was involved in a lot of communities. I was sailing, I was fundraising for lifeboats, and I would just eat a takeaway or whatever, rather than sit down and have 3 main meals a day.
So you were just eating bad stuff on the go all the time?
Yeah, and I worked nights as well with people with learning disabilities, so my lifestyle was kind of back to front.
But there must have been a point during those years. I mean, nobody gets to 25 stone, because obviously we can see your frame. You're a very small lady, so you probably started out like that. Nobody gets to 25 stone without noticing it's going on and saying to themselves, hang on a second here, this is... I need to stop doing this. So why didn't you stop?
I just ignored it, thinking it might go away.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you do what many women do when they're very overweight? Did you just not look in mirrors, not worry about the way you dressed? Did you just kind of pretend it wasn't happening?
Yeah, I think so, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you must have been unhappy being that weight.
I didn't think about it, to be quite honest. I just went and did my activities and went to work and did whatever I had to do. And it was me. People, if they looked at me, they know me. So I said, this is me.
And had you tried to lose weight before?
Yes, I went once or twice. I went to health farms on holidays and things like that.
But Motivation finally did it for you. So what was different about Motivation? Why did it work?
Motivation is looked at the eating habits and the behaviour modification. And
well, let's bring Aisling in here. Aisling, when somebody like Therese presents and you look at them and you go, she's small, she's 25 stone, there's a medical issue we need to address here straight away, we need to get this done as fast as we can. But to be able to take 14 stone off in a year and a half is nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, what magic wand do you wave?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and Therese has done so well. I have to say her motivation was fantastic from the start, and that is a huge thing that we need to have with clients. But what we focus on and what makes the programme different is what we call the mental weight. So it's looking at, as Therese said, how people are behaving, their whole attitude toward food. And it was very interesting. I have Therese's report here. On her initial visit, her mental weight was actually lower. So a lot of people, when they come in, they might weigh 20 stone or say 10 stone. Their mental weight could be 15 stone. So it means that their habits, their behaviours and attitudes are comparable
What do you mean
to
by
someone of that
mental
weight.
weight?
Mental weight is literally their frame of mind. It's a profile we have of weighing a person's, measuring a person's habits and behaviours and attitudes.
Okay.
So we would look at, for example, Trey's mental weight, her mental weight was lower, and that meant exactly as she said, she was out of touch. So she wasn't seeing herself as 25 stone, and we find that happens a lot with particularly people who are more obese, that they're not recognising. And Therese did say to me when we met that she was the type who goes straight up in front for a picture to be taken and just not recognising it. So the main thing that we do through the computer reports that we have in the questionnaire, it is a psychological profile, is look at the triggers. And one trigger that Therese had was food reward was a big issue. So hypoglycemia is obviously a physical hunger, and probably the most common one that people have nowadays. So skipping meals, busy lifestyle, like yourselves, I'm sure, you know, trying to grab something to eat, and then wondering why we're suddenly binging and eating the biscuits, you know, late at night. So we look at that side first, but then the emotional side, and as you had said, Sinead, is a huge factor, and we all have emotional issues because we're emotional creatures. And food reward was a big issue for
What
Therese.
if she'd like had a long day at work, Therese would then, you'd say, oh, I'll get a takeaway on the way home, I did well at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or I deserve, if you hear the phrase, you know, I deserve. So that can be a thing. Another one is guilt. A huge thing is guilt.
You talk about the motivation, but Therese must obviously be a very disciplined person, because to do what she's done, to keep it going, I mean, I think, what was your target originally? Was it to get down to 15?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning I said I wasn't going to look at long steps because it would be too far away. So I said I'd take small steps. So I said first I would lose 5 stone. And then when I lost the 5 stone, I said I'd lose another 5 stone.
But it must have poured off you, Therese. I mean, you've lost it at the rate of what, nearly a stone a month?
Well, roughly, yeah.
And when you saw that coming off, did that obviously spur you on? I mean,
Oh yes, the determination and the motivation clinic, their support and their dedication was the best.
And Therese, how do you feel now compared to 25 stone Therese?
I don't think it has hit me yet.
Well, you look fabulous. You're a very stylish lady, obviously. So, you know, that person was in there all along waiting to get out.
Indeed it was, yeah.
But you're happy. We can see you've been smiling the whole way through this. So you're obviously proud of what you've achieved.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's all thanks to the motivation in Limerick, to John especially, because he was my counsellor.
And what happens now, Therese? Do you go off and stick with your eating plan and your exercise plan for the rest of your life, or where do you go from here?
Well, I watch what I eat, and I go for the healthy option.
The healthy option. And do you take exercise as well?
Of course, yeah. Well, I swim and I cycle and I walk.
Good woman yourself.
And I did the gym for a while.
For a while?
Yeah.
And do you find that you have even more energy now than you had before?
Oh, I've 10 times as much energy.
And you
I
were
was
pretty
energetic before, but I'm twice as energetic now.
Listen, well done, Therese.
Actually, it's extraordinary because so often we meet people on this program who take surgical options to do that, and we hear about gastric banding, you know, particularly for extreme weight loss. For somebody to be able to do this in a year and a half shows that it can be done the right way and the natural way.
Absolutely.
You're an inspiration.
Thank you
well
very
done.
much.
And by the way, are you going to keep going? Have you got a? I mean, you must be down. What? You're down 11 stone now.
Yeah.
You want to take another bit off?
Never know. I might go walking in India.
Oh, you should.
It's in April.
You should. Go on the walk with Alan.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good goal, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
all about goals, as you were saying, Therese.
Yeah.
Well done to you, lady.
Thank you
Can I
very
just
much.
say too that there are clinics nationwide. We have 23 clinics, so and we're out there to help as many people as we can. And Therese will tell you how easy it is.
I suspect you're going to
Very
get a lot of
easy.
calls
She's
this
a great
morning after
advert
this.
for you.
Well, today is the first day of Lent, so maybe they should just lift the phone and ring Limerick.
Well, as somebody else pointed out earlier on this morning, it's not what you give up, it's what you plan to do as well.
Yes, that's
So
absolutely,
you turn it into not a sacrificial thing, but a positive thing.
Yes, positive
Okay.
thinking the whole time.
That's it.
Absolutely, Therese.
Cheers.
Well done.
Thank you very much.